Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Today, David Ornstein has been speaking to TalkSport about Manchester City's 115 charges. Not listened to it, we're going to have a listen to it, see what he's got to say, and yeah, let's go, man.
Manchester City's alleged breaches of FFP, 115 charges against them. That's a number we've heard a lot because this has been rumbling on. But we now have a date set, or rather a month set, for when this hearing will take place. We're hearing it will be September. David, I'll start with you. Given how long that this has gone on, just how significant is it that we now appear to have a timeline in place?
Yeah, I think it's really good for football supporters, for the Premier League, because it's a bit of a stain against the competition that this has been running for so long. The investigation has been going since, 2019 or something. The allegations, 2009 to 2018 are the time span. I presume some people following football weren't even born at that point. And we're getting to a stage now that if there's no resolution, it's going to undermine even further the credibility of the competition, the product, the trust of the public and the fans in what we're watching. Now, we knew it was going to be coming in the autumn. We thought around October, November time. The latest reports suggest September. Of course, that could always be pushed back because of legal wrangling. And then there will be the hearing, and then there will be conversations afterwards, deliberations. The panel are going to have to write up their report, suggestions it will go into at the very least early 2025 until we hear an outcome. That could still be subject to challenge and appeals. And that wouldn't surprise you, given how vigorously Manchester City have fought this situation until now. We all remember that day in February of 2023, was it, or 2022, when the charges were laid down, 115. Latest round of reports suggest that that's actually been amended to 130 charges.
Oh, damn. There's even more charges, man. What did you say? 100? What?
Reports suggest that that's actually been amended to 130 charges.
When will it end, Robbie? When will it end, man? You know what I mean? I just need this done. I need it over, boys. 100, we can't go 130, man. What have we done now? Fucking hell. These guys, they just want to add charges on. You know, was the grass too long or something? What's going on here, man? So far, I agree with what he's saying, though. Like, it needs to be resolved. It's not great for the Premier League that these charges are going on. Let's see what else he's got to say.
That was a report by Martin Ziegler in The Times. The Premier League aren't commenting on that. They're keeping their cards very close to their chest on this. But now, yeah, we at least have a time, a sort of fork in the road in when we could have some kind of clarity on what's going to happen here. And given all of the issues around financial fair play, profitability and sustainability, the words that we seem to be talking about more than ever now, and we're looking at Everton and Nottingham Forest, even Chelsea being considered, all clubs now understanding that these financial rules have teeth. The question you get asked as a journalist every time you post a story on this subject or talk about it is, what about Manchester City?
Yes. What about Manchester City, guys? That's literally all everyone tweets, man. You know what I mean? What about Man City? What about Man City? What about Man City, mate? Hey, honestly, man, some of these guys on social media, yeah, you need to chill out a little bit, man. I swear down, they've got it on like speed dial. What about Man City? What about Man City? The thing is, the City's gonna be dealt with, man. I think they're scared. They're scared that City are gonna be not guilty, man. Because let's be honest, right? All these fans, yeah, if City get not guilty, they then need to accept that actually their clubs are just run like crap, innit? That's the truth, man. But they don't want to be told the truth. They want to, oh no, the only reason you didn't win, lads, is because City have cheated. Oh, don't worry about it. We did everything right. No, the reason United haven't won a Premier in over a decade is because they're crap. And they've been ran horrendously badly. Liverpool, just not quite good enough. Could they have invested more? Maybe. Yeah. Arsenal, again, did they ever fully go for it in the transfer market? Did they ever push themselves as far as they possibly can? Probably not, man. A lot of these people just use it as an excuse. What about Man City? Well, oh, shut up, man.
Well, we shouldn't be too far away from finding out.
Matt, I think David makes a really interesting point there. How pleased do you think the Premier League will be? Because, as he says, they've faced so many questions, given how swiftly you'd imagine they acted with the likes of Everton and Nottingham Forest. How pleased do you think the Premier League will be that finally there is something they can say to fans in respect of, listen, this hearing will be taking place. It could drag on quite long, but at least there is that timeline there.
I think they'll be pleased to have a date in the diary. I believe September the 16th has been penciled in for the start point for a 10-week hearing. So the Premier League will be pleased by that. They can't really speak to the fans or even their own clubs about this at all. That's part of the problem, and it's a huge part of the reason why they've been so widely criticised, just because of the legal implications. They cannot say anything. They don't even brief journalists anonymously on this. It's very, very hard to get any information, which is why, as David says, so many people keep asking about it, because there is an information vacuum about this. I think it might just be worth spelling out.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, I get it, yeah, because at the end of the day, right, it's a legal case, so they can't just go around telling people what's going on, but why couldn't they have just come out? Because obviously they're saying, the Premier League is saying that they've had this, it's been penciled in for a start date for like months and months. Why couldn't they have just come out and said, listen guys, we can't tell you a lot of information, but what we can tell you is that the case is starting on this date. And if they would have done that, then fans would have been like, right, chilling. Like, people say, yeah, but it's just legal. What does that even mean, bro? Like, why couldn't they have just told us 3 or 4 months ago, or whenever it was that it was agreed that it'd be September the 16th? Why couldn't they have just come out and said, right, we can't tell you anything about the case, but all we're telling you is that it starts on September 16th, so everyone can shut up now. Like, sometimes this legal stuff goes way too far, man. Sometimes I think they're using it as an excuse, if I'm being honest. Like, what's this guy saying? I don't know who this is.
The scale of this thing, because
Who
it's
is this
often
guy?
compared to Everton
What's
and
he called?
falling out. There's an very, very hard. They don't even brief, so widely criticised.
Matt Hughes.
I think it might just be worth spelling out the scale of this thing, because it's often compared to Everton and Forest, but it's in a different stratosphere, both in terms of what City are accused of and therefore the potential implication.
Yeah, it's massively different. We're accusing us of fraud, bro. We've not just missed FFP by 10 mil. Yeah? They're accusing us of fraud. Like, what's he going to say?
Everyone has the number 115 in their heads, which might now be increased to 150, as David has says. But in terms of
150? What? Oh, God, man. Just relegate us now. What is happening here? 150? Oh, dearie me. Where have these extra charges come from, man?
what they've been charged with, it's probably worth going through the charges. The charges, I've got them here. 54 failures to provide accurate financial information, 14 failures to provide accurate details of player and manager salaries, Roberto Mancini, the manager, involved, 5 breaches of UEFA's FFP rules, 7 breaches of the Premier League's PSR rules, and then 35 failures to cooperate. I mean, it's just huge. Everton been docked 10 points and then 2 points for single breaches of PSR. City accused of 7 breaches of PSR alone, as well as all the rest. So if they're found guilty of a fraction of the allegations against them, the punishment is almost limitless.
Yeah, exactly. We know this. If we get found guilty, mate, we know that we're not looking good. You know what I mean? But I mean, most of those, we knew most of that anyway. You know what I mean? Because we've seen it in the past in newspaper reports and what we've breached. So yeah, we know it's serious. Obviously, they're alleging that Roberto Mancini was paid off the books separately, which, if you've looked at the emails, he was paid separately. But was it legit? You know what I mean? He was paid by another club in the UAE for consultancy work. Was that legit? Was that a legit contract, or was that just another way of paying him to top up his contract? Don't know. That's what City have got to answer. But again, I said it. Was it yesterday? Was it yesterday that I did this on the Goldbridge video? I can't remember. Did a Goldbridge React video yesterday. Make sure you check that out if you've not done so. Here's the thing, yeah. Here's the thing. It's up to the Premier League to prove that they're the ones that are right. They're alleging fraud of the highest scale, the highest degree, right? It's up to them to prove that City are dodgy. Now, obviously, there is an element of City have got to defend themselves, but ultimately, if City, all City have to do is provide a reasonable explanation for whatever the emails are. And people won't like that. People be sitting there. I know people are going to be sitting there. United fans, Liverpool fans, they're going to be raging, saying, "What are you talking about?" But it's true. All City have to do is provide a reasonable explanation about what the emails actually mean. Because unless the Premier League can prove that this is dodgy, and the emails don't prove shit. I've read the emails. They don't prove anything. They ask a question that City need to answer. But City can answer that easily. So, for example, the Roberto Mancini payments. Why is a UAE club paying Roberto Mancini 1.5 million or whatever it is at the same time that he's working for Manchester City? We think that you're basically topping up his wage there. City go, it was a... First of all, City might go, don't know, it's got nothing to do with us. Ask the UAE club. Got nothing to do with us. They might say, we've spoken to the club. He was employed for consultancy work, as per the emails, and he complied with that and did the consultancy work. It's a legit contract. How are the Premier League going to be able to prove that that didn't happen? How are they going to be able to prove it? Now, again, I said it yesterday, maybe they got a whistleblower coming in and say that was complete sham, it wasn't legit. He never did the consultancy work, he never went to the UAE, never did it. It was a complete sham. That contract was purely and simply to top up his wage at Manchester City. But again, it's quite interesting. I seen a case study that I think Stefan might have tweeted a while ago. Whistleblowers are not always trusted as well. Just because you got a whistleblower don't mean you're going to win the case, because witnesses are notoriously unreliable. And again, witnesses could have agendas. So they've got to prove it. And by the way, I'm not here saying that they're not going to be able to prove it. I have no idea if we're going to win the case or if we're going to lose the case. The point is, it's up to the Premier League to prove that they're right and City are wrong. And I think that's tough unless they've got a smoking gun.
I mean, David, when Matt spells it out like that, it does sound very ominous for Manchester City. They will attack this with lawyers. They will come back. As you've said, there will be appeals, you would imagine. But is there any way to predict just how strong this punishment could be for Manchester City?
No, I think we'd be guessing and speculating. I don't think that's responsible in this case, because Manchester City have insisted throughout that they are innocent, that they have irrefutable evidence to prove that innocence.
That's strong. That wording is so strong. Irrefutable evidence. Let me tell you what that means. Let me tell you what irrefutable means. Yeah? Watch this. Watch this. What does irrefutable mean?
This is the definition of irrefutable. Impossible to deny or disprove.
Impossible to deny or disprove. Now, I don't know about you, yeah, but if City end up losing the case, having told me as a City fan, and having told City fans all around the world that they have irrefutable evidence, impossible to deny or disprove, then you can't really lose the case. I also think it's interesting how it says disprove, because that's basically what I've been saying. Yeah, it's up to the Premier League to prove. So basically, the Premier League say, you've been paying Mancini dodgy. You've been paying him extra money. We think that you're topping up his wage, and that's not a legit contract. Manchester City, all they have to do is have evidence, and it could be a statement from the club in UAE to say, no, it was fully legit. It's fully legit. We employed him as a consultant. He came over 4 times a year. He completed the work. It was a completely 100% legitimate contract. How are the Premier League going to be able to prove that didn't happen? How exactly? And again, you know what I mean? It's all about proof. Proof. Can they prove it? Maybe they can.
Are convinced that they will come out on top in this, and so their supporters. We didn't say who this would also be good for. Manchester City and their supporters will feel this is an opportunity finally to be vindicated and to have this stigma lifted from above their heads. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But the size and the scale and the magnitude that Matt talks about there, a couple of things I wanted to add. A lot of the alleged offences, are repeat. So that's helped inflate the number, because many people say, wow, 115 separate charges. That's not the case. Because of the time span, it's often in many of those. That
Thank you. Who is David Ornstein? Yeah, is reporting this fairly. It's facts. It's not like we've broken like bare different rules. We've broken quite a relatively small amount of rules, but we've broken it year after year after year after year. Well, we've alleged to have broken it year after year after year after year after year after year for 9 years or whatever it is. Hence why you get to a big number.
That Matt lays out year after year of the same thing, including non-compliance and alleged inflating of sponsorships artificially with the help of their ownership being disguised, and so on. There's another thing in this that the charges that have been faced by Everton, Nottingham Forest are described informally as like simple PSR cases. Whereas Manchester City is defined as being more complex.
Of course it is, because it's fraud.
As Matt explains. So when people are getting understandably frustrated and concerned and angry about the delays here and suggesting there is an agenda against their clubs and in favour of Manchester City, and why are you letting them go? They're not.
Yeah, but these people are just stupid, man. I'm not being funny, yeah. If you don't understand why this has taken so long, then, I mean, again, not to repeat myself for the 250th time, but they're alleging that Manchester City have committed fraud. It's not going to happen overnight, yeah? It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to have to go through due process. And as well, right, you know what would be funny, yeah? What would have happened if they charged City and then the next day the court case started, City won, and it then started being reported that, oh, the Premier League didn't do the full investigations, the Premier League didn't do everything, they rushed it through and that's why they lost. People would then be crying about that as well, saying, oh, they should have took their time, they should have made sure that they did it right and they got them banged up and that. So they can't win. They go too quick, they make a mistake because they've rushed, people start crying that they should have took more time. They take the time, do a full investigation, yeah, and then people say, oh, it's too long, blah, 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 blah. Like, they can't win, to be fair.
Completely different cases, completely different charges, completely different time eras. And there will be an unbelievably vigorous defence from Manchester City. Sort of some of the best lawyers in the industry. Lord Panic is among those leading their charge, the KC,
Lord
who's
Panic.
quite renowned. We're not undermining the legal force that, say, Everton and Nottingham Forest and maybe Chelsea, if it ever comes to them too, will have on their side.
Yeah, I mean, come on. The notion, yeah, the belief that Everton, Chelsea, the Premier League are going to have some second-rate solicitors acting for them, barristers, whatever. I mean, honestly, man, the delusion and the conspiracy theories that run round in some people's heads. I mean, it's surprising how they get through the day. I mean, come on, man. Are you seriously trying to tell me that the Premier League, which is a business that generates billions and billions of pounds revenue, you think that they're just going to have the new guy who's just passed the bar? I mean, come on.
But Manchester City have already proved with UEFA that they can defend themselves, and ultimately the ban that they were handed for European competition was lifted, and they will feel vindicated by that process, and they'll be adamant that they can do so again.
Just on this in terms of, in a more broader sense, Matt, as well, do you feel that this is an isolated case towards Manchester City in terms of what they've been alleged of doing, or is there any sense that we could find that this is similar with some other clubs as well, especially during that period that's being looked at, 2009 to 2018?
Well, there is another case that is ongoing regarding Chelsea in a similar period. It doesn't relate to FFP PSR breaches as such, but it is. They're accused of failing to disclose all of their transfer payments. The allegations have been reported in the Dutch media, and then
I don't care about Chelsea, to be honest, but yeah, they're being investigated as well. Listen, I actually thought, to be honest with you, David Ornstein reported that quite fairly, to be honest. He's not speculating too much about what could happen. What he's just saying these are the facts. This is why it's taken this long. This is what they were being investigated for. This is what City is saying. So actually, I think he's done a pretty good job of doing that. And I think we need more people like that, because I'm sorry, the way this has been reported in the media over the last few years has been an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. And it's quite funny, actually, isn't it? Because, again, was it yesterday I was speaking about this, about why has no one spoke about, in this whole period of time, why has no one had a real proper conversation? People might have mentioned it here or there. Why has no one had a proper conversation, a real honest debate about what happens if Manchester City get found not guilty? What does that mean for the Premier League? What does that mean for Manchester City? Does City have any rights then to sue the Premier League for you know, destroying the name of the club in their eyes, probably? Maybe it's affected sponsorship deals. Maybe it's affected transfers. People say that players won't go to City because of this 115. If the Premier League don't win this, that is a disaster for them. It really is. Guys, let me know your thoughts and comments in the comments section below. Smash a like on the video if you've not done so already. Go check out the Mark Goldbridge reaction video that I did yesterday. He's done another Manchester City video on this 115 situation. The guy can never stop doing them. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.